buy back his respectability by making him a coward? I understand what Bert's going through. It's the loneliest feeling in the world. You find yourself standing up when everybody else is sitting down. To have everybody look at you and say, what's the matter with him? I know what it is. Walking down an empty street, listening to the sound of your own footsteps.
So, can you state your name and who you're playing for All in Act's production of Inherit the Wind?
I'm Michael Burns, and I'm playing Henry Drummond, the defense lawyer who defends Bertram Cates.
So, what interested you in this part?
Well, it's one of the best parts, I think, in all of the theater. It is, the character is so rich. First of all, the story is, it's a wonderful story. It's a great play. It was made into a movie with Spencer Tracy and Frederick March, who gave brilliant performances. The character is fighting for something that's worth fighting for. He's a champion of the underdog, and he's fighting a bad law, and he's very passionate about the fight, and he goes about it in a very intelligent way, and he's put a lot of thought into it, and he's willing to come to this small town in Tennessee and defend this young man who's been charged with violating a statute that is completely senseless. And he's fighting the law, and he's defending this young man, and he's also fighting the whole town, who are on the side of my opponent, Colonel Brady. So for all those reasons, it's a wonderful part.
So you mentioned, it's a wonderful part, it's extensive, there's a lot there. When you get something like that and you open the script and you first start looking over it, how do you start preparing yourself to tackle such a role?
Well, the first thing I do is very basic. I highlight the lines and I start memorizing them. And but if there are other sources to look at, I look at those as well. I watched the movie with Spencer Tracy and Frederick March. I don't necessarily try to pattern my performance after Spencer Tracy's or anybody else's, but I think that was very educational for me. A good friend of mine gave me a copy of Clarence Darrow's autobiography, which I read, and that helped me to prepare.
Clarence Darrow is the actual individual.
Clarence Darrow is the real-life attorney on whom my character, Henry Drummond, is based. And so I read the parts of Darrow's autobiography dealing with the Scopes monkey trial on which this play, the trial in this play, is based. So I try to get a feel for the character, what his motivations are, what he's trying to do, his personality, and just a sense of the essence of who he is as a human being. But first I memorize the lines, and then I try to add in my sense of what the essence of this character is, and any nuances in the way that the character speaks, and it's just a gradual process that takes place over the course of several weeks during the period of rehearsal and preparation.
So you've done a lot of things with All in Act over the years.
I've done, I think this is my 12th show with All in Act. I've done it, yeah. I think I've done about a dozen shows over the past 7 years now with All in Act. Yeah.
How does this show kind of work into that canon of things that you've done?
Well, it's right up there. I mean, All in Act has done a lot of quality shows. And I've done some comedies with them, and I've done several classic dramas. I've also been very fortunate to be in the production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 12 Angry Men, and several others. And those are all classic dramas. In 12 Angry Men, I played one of the antagonists, a man who had some had some problems, and he was the last holdout for a not guilty verdict. In Cuckoo's Nest, I was sort of the protagonist. I was sort of the anti-hero. But these are all classic dramas that I've been in, and I was also in Of Mice and Men. I'm trying to think of all the shows I've done here. I've been in several comedies, but they've all been great shows, and this is just one more really great classic drama that I've been very fortunate to be a part of.
So one final question. What is your favorite moment of the show?
Well, my favorite moment of the show has to be the ultimate showdown, the confrontation, with Brady. I think the climax of the confrontation is when it gets really heated, and I ask Brady. Brady says that God is telling him, what to say to people, and I say, God speaks to you. He tells you what is right and wrong. And Brady admits, yes, God is speaking to me and telling me. So I'm saying, so God is telling you what's right and wrong and having you pass on his orders to the world. So I'm basically exposing Brady as somebody who's, quite zealous in his faith, and he's to be given credit for that, but somebody who feels that he is a prophet, that God speaks through him. And I'm suggesting to him, isn't it possible that God may have spoken to other people? He may have spoken to Cates. God may speak through many people. He may have spoken through Charles Darwin as well. That Brady is not the only authority or the only source of God's wisdom. And so it's at that heated moment, I think, during my cross-examination of Brady, and when things get really heated, and I ask him, and he admits that every man is a free agent. I get him to admit that, and I ask, well, then what is Bertram Cates doing in the Hillsborough jail? And I suggest that maybe if Brady is this important, then he should have his own book in the Bible. And at that point, the cross-examination ends. That's my favorite part of the show, the confrontation with Brady, and it gets very heated. And Drummond is, each man is trying to make his point, and they're obviously both very passionate about it. It gets very loud and very heated. And Dave Mitchell, by the way, is awesome. It's great to play off of him. He does a fantastic job as Brady. So I think we have a good rapport, and I think we do very well playing off each other. So, but that part of the show is definitely my favorite.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, and thank you.